Hello and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament. I am Nightcat and I'll be your host for this Sunday. Today we will be covering the Winners Bracket Round 3 and the Losers Bracket Round 3. We'll be starting off with Stardust vs Monster, the winner of which will play the winner of Banana Brain and Purple Wave in the semifinals. We are also going to cover Dragon vs Marion vecca and Haupan vs Crazy OP. The winners of those games will go on to face the losers of the winners bracket matches from today, and the losers of those matches will be permanently eliminated from the tournament. So let's jump into Game 1 of Stardust and Monster. So Game 1 has us starting off on Fighting Spirit, with Stardust spawning as the teal Protoss down in the bottom left of the map, and Monster spawning as the red Zerg over on the right. So just taking a look at the production tab here, it's looking like we've got drones coming down and probes. Typical start here for PVZ. Looks like we're getting an in-base pylon from Stardust, so probably not going to see any sort of fast expansion. It looks like the scout is indeed going in the direction to find the Zerg player. Now the drone scout for Monster was pretty interesting there, because for some reason it did cut down here this way. It could say that maybe it was checking for some sort of proxy or something like that, but that ground is unbuildable, so I'm not exactly sure what that was for. I thought for a moment that maybe it was going in the same direction to scout as the Overlord, but that ended up not being the case, as the drone is now making its way up to the top left. Meanwhile, we do have the hatchery and the spawning pull down, and we've got a zealot and gateway on the way for Stardust. So it looks like we are getting a 2-gate from Stardust as the gas is started here. We'll see how aggressive it chooses to play. We are seeing one base play here from Monster. No expansion in the natural at this time. And Stardust is free to scout. Now we do have the Zerglings started here. Looks like we don't have the speed upgrade yet started for the Zerglings, so I'm watching that gas count to see. Oh, we're getting Burrow. Interesting. Interesting choice to get Burrow before getting something like Zergling speed. So we'll see how that plays out. Now we do have the Cybernetics core. We're getting our Hydralisk Den. Looks like we're probably going for some one-base lurker play, I would imagine. And we do have the Burrow there being used. And then Stardust is going to go ahead and move out. That Zergling, I believe, is going to be blocking that natural until observers come out. But will... Okay, we do have one. We're getting a second... looks like that will be, yep, a sunken. And now we're getting a third. As Stardust's army moves out and comes up into the main. So this, I think, will be able to protect... Yep, and gonna go ahead and engage. We've got some of the drones broed, but gonna go ahead and lose the 2 Dragoons and the Zealots, so dealing some heavy damage to one of the Sunkens, but Monster's gonna go ahead and get a 4th Sunken here just to be safe. Stardust is gonna go ahead and reinforce, but just kind of hang back, I think. Yep, okay, so they can fire on the gas, which is going to be a bit of a problem for Monster, and I think that might end up sealing the deal here, because Monster really wants to get these Hydralisks and keep them alive in order for the lurker aspect, but it's not going to have the gas if its extractor is destroyed. Now, there are a lot of Dragoons up here firing, and the extractor does fall, and now we are starting to see the drones fall. Monster has a lot of minerals and not getting any Zerglings. I feel like it could have avoided the situation if it had used some of those minerals in this emergency situation here to get Zerglings when the extractor was going to get punished. And with that, it looks like Monster is going to say GG and give the win to Stardust. So Game 1 saw Stardust taking a lead there, 1-0, able to thwart the one base lurker by being able to snipe the extractor due to the sunken placement, and then I believe the goon range upgrade. So we'll see how Game 2 plays out here on Heartbreak Ridge, with Stardust spawning as the yellow Protoss over on the left of the map, and Monster spawning as the red Zerg. So it looks like we have another in-base pylon, so I'm wondering if we're going to see another 2-gate build from Stardust. Looks like we are getting an Overlord, so we will see... Excuse me, sorry about that. Some type of 11 or 12 hatchery from Monster, and we are currently now at 12, so will it be an in-base? And it looks like it is an in-base hatchery. Looks like similar positioning here, so I think we are going to see a similar build from Monster. Looks like the spawning pool is being built up kind of far though. I don't know if I'm liking that spawning pool position because, again, just like the last map, you're going to be able to have your Dragoons come down here and take out this extractor without much trouble if there are not well-positioned Sunkens to defend it. So we're going to see how this plays out though. We do have the 2 gateways from Stardust currently getting the cybernetics core, so I think we're going to see the similar move out that we saw last time. And note how the Zealots are letting that drone go. They're not really worried about it. They're more worried about units potentially coming into this choke point and causing some problems in the main. So they don't care about that drone at all. So we've got... Now the Dragoons are started, the lair and the Hydralisk Sten is started. Imagine that we have got Burrow, which is still slightly interesting choice from my perspective. You're slowing down the lurker aspect by spending the gas on that, and just to note that we do have the units now on the move for Stardust. But you're slowing down, like, lurker aspect has not even been started yet. We got burrow, but lurkers can burrow without that being researched, so I'm not sure exactly why we're getting that when the most that we can do is burrow something to sort of prevent the natural from going up until there are observers. Now, there's a little bit of a move there, and again we see 2 Dragoons fall, but they are quickly being replaced. The Stardust quickly has gone up to 4 gateways, now getting a 5th. We still do not have the lurker aspect, and we can burrow some of our drones, but as you can see here, the 1 Sunken falls. I think just a few Zealots and a Dragoon was lost. Let's take a look at the upgrades here. Goon range is complete, and it looks like Overlord speed, or yeah, I think that's Overlord speed based on how they're moving, was complete. Lurker aspect is almost complete, but the Dragoons are almost able to hit this. I think they actually can hit this without being targeted by the... Yep, there we go. Now they are hitting the extractor without getting hit by the Sunkens. They found where they need to stand. They're able to take out the gas. Monster has no gas. I'm not sure what... It looks like it's getting transport now, so perhaps this is trying to do like a lurker drop in Stardust space, but it's just using all of its gas before it can really get what it needs to like even stay alive, which is just unfortunate to see. Monster taking it, or sorry, Stardust taking advantage of that, just building up the Goon army. Behind this, it has taken its natural, and pretty quickly here, I think this main is going to fall. This time it did get some extra Zerglings, it looked like, to try and defend this, but realistically that is the game, and Monster will call the GG in game 2, and Stardust will quickly jump up 2-0. And so game 3 will see us with Stardust spawning at the bottom of destination as the green Protoss looking to secure a win in game 3 and move on to the semifinals in the winners bracket, with Monster spawning as the teal Zerg up at the top of the map, fighting to stay alive in this series. So far we've seen 2 games where we've had similar play, where Monster was going for a 1 base lurker build, unable to execute it due to some interesting choices in its gas expenditure, as well as due to base and opening position, or in the opening into the main, having that vulnerable Vespene Geyser and Extractor. So now I'm curious how this is going to play out if it goes for the same build, because in this instance we have the opening to the main over here on the far right, while the Extractor is pretty far over to the left here, so pretty safe, easy to get Sunkens in such a way that that will be defended now. Interesting to see here that it is planting that hatchery pretty far away from the rest of the structure, so going to be difficult, I feel, to get sunken placement that's going to be able to defend everything. I'm suspecting that that hatchery placement might become a problem for Monster, but we'll see once Stardust's units arrive. Now we do have the 2 gateway and the cybernetics core, so it seems as if Stardust is like, you know what, this has worked for me twice in a row, I'm going to go ahead and just do this again. And meanwhile, Monster is also trying the same thing, it looks like. So we do have the Zerglings out here. We do have kind of the burrow being researched, and the lair is morphing. So the Hydralisk Den, I feel like the burrow in this build could really be done away with. You could get your lair a bit faster, you could get your Hydralisk Den a bit faster, and you could get your lurker aspect a bit faster. Because so far in both of these games, we have not seen a single lurker get morphed by the time that Monster's in trouble. Now, the army for Stardust is out. It is placing these very forward, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this hatchery placement is probably pretty good because it does allow the sunken colonies here to take advantage of this ramp. So this will be a little bit harder of a position for Stardust to push into compared to if the Sunkens were a bit further back. So now we are up to 3 Sunkens here. Stardust has moved up to 4 gates, as we can see in the production, and moving up to its 5th. The Hydralisks are now underway, but Lurker aspect is only about halfway. So this could be an issue if Stardust is able to push up into this, but Stardust falling back pretty far here. I think it's feeling a lot less confident pushing into this particular setup than it was before. Now we do have the first wave of reinforcements coming up, so we'll see what Stardust decides to do with these 4 new Dragoons, if it's going to try and push into this again, which it looks like it is. We are getting a 4th sunken colony here. It looks like we are getting a 3rd hatchery. Lurker aspect appears to be done, but our gas is pretty low. We don't have any lurkers yet. I'm surprised to see that they are not morphed yet. Monster pretty much forced to stay in its base here, using a gas drone, interestingly enough, to morph this other creep colony here. Now we do have some lurkers underway, so going to be able to do a bit of a move out here. We do have some cannons back at the home for Stardust, but no mobile detection out in this area right now, so the lurkers, though, being very defensive, they could push this army back with some burrow, unburrow. But Stardust behind this is also taking as natural. Looks like we are getting a few more cannons, so I think Stardust may be onto the fact that there is some lurker play. Now, there are some sneaky overlords here, it looks like. They are maybe loaded with lurkers. Taking this expansion. Okay, so it recognizes, alright, I can't get out. And then the Zergling's just running into the army there. The lurkers are going, okay, I can't get out of my base to take my natural. So this is pretty interesting to see. It used the Overlord transport just to take this base, so it didn't even use it in an aggressive manner, but gonna go ahead and plop a couple of lurkers down here to guard this. The observatory, though, is underway, so the lurkers are not going to be very effective for long at keeping Stardust at bay. Stardust has not discovered this expansion yet, though. Nice transfer of workers using the overlords. I don't think I've seen another AI recognize that it's not safe to travel to this base via land, so I'm going to use my air transports to get there. So that is pretty awesome to see. I believe that's like a first that I've seen it. Now it has cleared out this back here, so it could also take this mineral only if it wants another expansion, wants to increase its minerals. Now Stardust thought about going in there, that it has the observer here. Still staying back, though, not feeling confident enough to march up this, and I mean, I wouldn't either. This is interesting, though. I'm wondering what... Now, we do have some Sunkens over here, too. I'm wondering what is Monster going to do to try and turn this into an advantage for it. Now, we do have a bit of an engagement here. A couple of Dragoons falling, but not really doing a whole lot. Stardust seems to be very uncertain as to how to approach this. And now we do have some more Overlord transports, it looks like, over to this base on the right. Stardust now, though, has discovered this base on the left. Going to go ahead and move into it. There is no ramp advantage here. And those Overlords, I notice, are moving over down towards Stardust's base. So I'm curious to see what that's going to do, but it feels like that drop may be a bit too late, as this but the second base for Monster is going to fall. And now going ahead and dropping here and taking this base, which is an interesting choice. Looks like Stardust was originally planning on taking that, but now the probe and the pylon there have fallen. But now this is going to very quickly fall as well. So I thought maybe those were going to try and drop in the main, but they didn't. But they did draw the army out. But now the army for Zerg is running back into the main. This is a very, very strange game to observe here. Very not typical for what we've been casting so far, I would say. Stardust is supply blocked at the moment. I think it was planning on having its supply increase with that expansion there that got taken out by Monster, who was happening to try and expand at the same place at the same time. Monster, though, is re-expanding over here, yet to be discovered. Now being discovered, there's a lot of drones that are potentially going to be lost, but they all burrow. If an observer does not come over, they will be safe. So we will see how this plays out for now. Lurker on the bridge, going to cause a few problems, but observer able to come up. I think it actually had unburrowed, and that ended up being its end there. The drones. Oh no. Oh no, why did they unburrow? They all unburrow and just go through the army of Stardust. If they had just stayed burrowed, they would have been fine, but instead, it was just White the Massacre there. And there weren't even any minerals, they were all just going to this gas here, I think. Monster, though, out of minerals, just kind of boxed up in its base. And Stardust is acting a little bit strange here as well. Doesn't seem to be up. Okay, now Stardust, it looks like, is going to take another expansion here, or try to. But there is a burrowed Zergling there. Another Zergling came over to cause some problems. And I don't know if Stardust is actually going to clear this. So I don't know if Stardust is going to recognize that there's something in the way here. Meanwhile, we've got not much going on over here between the armies. Stardust here. Okay, it does move an observer over, but doesn't actually do anything with that observer. Gonna go ahead and lose another probe there. So a bit of a silly situation here between these two bots, where Monster has this very entrenched position, but can't really do much with it. And Stardust is failing to take a third. It is almost maxed out, so it could pretty much just move up there, I think, at this point, but it's running a risk of mining itself out. It is pushing more into this position, though, but then it's falling back, so I'm not sure if this game is going to time out at some point and then be decided on score, because Stardust is just wants to take these expansions, and these couple of Zerglings are doing a lot of work for Monster here, preventing it from properly expanding, and it's given up on trying to take this space. I wonder if it's because that pylon and cannon are there, or because that was previously going to be taken and then was stopped by Monster. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly where this game is going to go from here. I normally try to keep things on 2 times speed, but in this, for the finals here, well, not the finals, but for the tournament, the brackets, but I might speed this particular game up because this is quite a bit of a silly situation. And then looking at the main here, we've got a bunch up of troops. It looks like some probes. So I don't know if maybe some of these troops were planned to clear this up. We've got more probes coming over here now. Being fed to this Zergling here. Zergling blocking the Nexi from being dropped. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up to 4 times here right now. Just kind of trying to keep an eye on the mini-map. Okay, we do have another movement up here, so I'm going to go ahead and slow back down to 2 times. Yep, okay, so we are at 2 times now. And it looks like Stardust is just pushing into this and doing some damage, clearing some of those Sunkens out. And deciding to... Oh, okay, it did get the Nexus down this time at that base, but it might get stopped by this Zergling. Meanwhile, it has pulled back from this push here. Oh, and because it got the Nexus down, it did finally move a Dragoon over there, so... Stardust finally able to take a 3rd. Pulling its army back strangely, maybe to just get that Mutalisk. Still not feeling comfortable in pushing up that, but I actually don't blame it here because it's currently mined out, waiting for this 3rd. So I think though that once this 3rd is established and mining, we are likely to see a return to normalcy here for Stardust, where it's going to go ahead and spend that money on army. We do have a Dragoon already under construction. Going to go ahead and speed this up once again until we get the push into the main here or the time out. Some number of probes just sitting there at the natural, sitting idle, so a little bit of a slow production trickle for Stardust. Oh, okay, now we have another push into the main and we're just losing Dragoons here. But this will slowly fall as Monster can't replace anything. That it loses, it doesn't have the minerals. It's not long distance mining. It could have been long distance mining this whole time for minerals, but not doing so. Go ahead and speed back up until the next engagement. Another little poke in here. Being pushed back. The Overlord transfers to that for whatever reason. They're scouting around here. Now Stardust sitting back. Still has a bit of a problem here in its main, a bit of a traffic jam due to the Sim City. But still getting enough units out that it should be able to take this, but I'm thinking this game might actually go to timeout here because Stardust is not wanting to engage. Not wanting to push up. Just really quick, want to take a look at the upgrades. Not very many upgrades for Stardust, and it is struggling with money because it's not really populating this with probes, so its production is such that it can't get enough minerals to want to expand either. Oh my, this is a bit of a silly game. I know I've said that a number of times, but just a strange situation to see both of these bots in. And now we do have another engagement here at the ramp. Monster doing a good job of using this high ground to its advantage. Stardust trying to work its way up there with the Dragoons that it has. Really committing to this fight, which is pretty interesting here. A lot of stepping here, and then some goons are still firing though. The Hydralisks falling back towards that sunken. It looks like the Hydralisks are not enough to deal with the Dragoons that are here though. Some more reinforcements are trickling from that. The last Hydralisks have fallen, the last sunken has fallen, and with that, Monster will tap out, giving game 3 and the win to Monster. So Stardust will advance on to the semifinals to face the winner of our next match, and Monster will drop down to the losers bracket. So our next series for today has us watching Banana Brain against Purple Wave. Banana Brain spawning as the yellow Protoss up at the top left of Andromeda, and Purple Wave spawning as the Teal Protoss down at the bottom left. So Purple Wave being no stranger to Protoss versus Protoss matches, having just in the last round taken on Beta Star all the way to Game 5 in its matchup. Banana Brain also took on Mad Mix P back in round 1, so it is also no stranger to PvP here. So let's see, looks like we've got mirror builds from both of these bots right now. We've got probes with similar timings. Gateway right now looks like Purple Wave though is diverging a bit here, going for 2 gateways, whereas Banana Brain is going ahead and getting its assimilator. Gonna go ahead and get gas and its cybernetics core. So we're seeing a gate core build here from Banana Brain with no zealot production. Meanwhile, Purple Wave here is getting the zealots. Purple Wave does know where Banana Brain is with its scout and is... Oh, okay, so we did get a zealot here for Banana Brain. I missed it in the production queue. I'm gonna go ahead and poke in and see what Banana Brain is doing. Sees that it is a 1 gate core build. I'm watching for where Purple Wave's zealots are. Looks like they are going to go ahead and move out. There's already a zealot there engaging. Did a lot of damage to that zealot actually, but in the end was defeated when the Dragoon came out. Now these zealots look like they're coming up here. It looks like they probably will try to finish off that zealot. The zealot now choosing to engage, going after the probes, which is good to see. Now this Dragoon getting pinned against the wall here, the zealot recognizing it and just zoning in on that zealot, or sorry, on that Dragoon. Purple Wave being aggressive with this. Looks like we do have a robotics bay, and we have a Citadel of a Dune coming down for Purple Wave. Purple Wave might be in a little bit of a trouble here though. Well, no, it did go ahead and get a Dragoon, so kind of flipped army counts here with 2s and 1s for the different unit types. It looks like Banana Brain is getting an observatory though, so it will have observers out in time for these Dark Templar. Meanwhile, the Templar Archives is about halfway done, while the Observer is about halfway done for Banana Brain. The Observer's going to finish just before the Templar Archives. So it looks like this 2-gate Zealots into Dark Templar, not quite going to hit the timing that Purple Wave wanted. And now Banana Brain going ahead and moving out with its army, being aggressive here, forcing the army of Purple Wave back. Purple Wave not making use of the ramp here, it looks like, for defense, instead choosing to defend this here, which my guess would be that terrain analysis tells it this is my choke point, and so that's where it's working to defend instead of the ramp for the high ground advantage here. But now Purple Wave feeling confident with the Dark Templar out that it can go ahead and take this expansion. It does have 10 Zealots and 2 Dragoons. Banana Brain surprisingly retreating all the way back to its main. It's doing something similar too, where it is gathering at about the same point where terrain analysis is probably telling it here's a choke point for your main, as opposed to relying on the ramp there. Now Purple Wave feeling a bit more confident, going to go ahead and move out and see what Banana Brain is up to, see if it can set up some type of contain, and actually pushing into the army here. Now choosing to fall back. Where is it going to fall back to? It's gonna go ahead and fall all the way back to its natural, where there is some reinforcements for it. So getting a couple of cannons here to help shore up this natural. And I think depending on how this plays out, so Banana Brain has been investing in its army, while Purple Wave has been investing in expanding. Purple Wave does have the Zealot leg speed, so that will help in combating these Dragoons, but it does not have detection of its own, so it can't snipe the Observer. So the Dark Templar are going to be of limited help. The last Dark Templar there falling. We do have High Templar under construction here for Purple Wave, and a bit of a Dragoon on Dragoon engagement here, and the game suddenly ending, unexpectedly ending. So let me go ahead and check who was the winner of this match. Looks like Purple Wave was the winner of this game. So my guess is that Banana Brain more than likely crashed or something along those lines in this particular instance. Unfortunate to see. I think Banana Brain was in a pretty strong position here. Looking at the army counts, it has 15 Dragoons to the 7 Dragoons that Purple Wave has. Purple Wave does have 10 Zealots out, as well as 3 Dark Templar. But with the detection that Banana Brain has, as long as the observers don't wander into range of the cannons, it seems like it would be able to deal with that. The one thing where I think Purple Wave has an advantage at this point in the game, though, is the fact that it does have its natural. So if it's able to repel the advances of Banana Brain, that would put Purple Wave in the advantage. But unfortunately, with the game ending suddenly like that, and Purple Wave coming out with the winner, we won't be able to know how this would have played out. But let's go ahead and jump into game 2 with Purple Wave up 1-0. So game 2 sees us spawning on circuit breakers, with Banana Brain spawning as the orange Protoss down on the bottom right of the map, and Purple Wave spawning at the top left as the blue Protoss. So unfortunate to see game 1 end the way that it did, but really, with the way that game 1 was playing out, it seems like either bot could take this series. We could easily have another 5-game series on our hands between these two opponents here. So Purple Wave getting the on the army instead of production, getting the in-base pylon along with Banana Brain as well. Now, I don't think fast expansions are really common in PvP, but we've seen stranger things happen. Purple Wave going ahead and scouting the bottom left, not finding. Banana Brain scout at the top right, not finding. So now they're going to scouting in the right directions, I believe. I actually lost track of Purple Wave's scout. Banana Brain has definitely found him. I don't... Oh, okay, so there we go. A little bit hard to see on this mini-map, the blue. At least when it's a single unit dot, but there it is going just above the mouse there. So Purple Wave scouted down below, then went up to the top right to do the cross scout. Still, though, finding Banana Brain. Seeing that we've got another 1-gate core build here. Purple Wave, meanwhile, going for the 2 gateways here, getting its 2 zealots. And now getting its gas. So I think we're going to see... And now the cybernetics core. So the scout does get taken out. And now it looks like we're seeing more aggressive or aggression from Purple Wave with these zealots. So I think we're seeing the same build here, where we are getting the zealots, and then we're going to transition, or we're going to get some dragoons. We'll be a bit aggressive with them, and then we will transition to the Dark Templar. But now we do have 4 zealots out taking on some probes, so trying to deal that economic damage where it can. Trying to slow things down. It looks like Banana Brain is getting its observatory already as the Citadel of Adun finishes. So it looks like we're seeing some similar timings here from these two, although I feel like we're seeing a little less early aggression from Purple Wave, where maybe it was about the same. I think there might have been 4 zealots that were marching into the main here of Banana Brain earlier, or in the first game. And so now we do have some movement. That poor zealot got a little bit confused and was staying up on the high ground. But now it looks like we're going to see a bit of a clash in the middle of the map here. And now the Dark Templar are out there, but that's going to put Banana Brain's army a bit away from the observers. There is an observer out, though, on the field. Okay, there's one observer, and there's a second one coming from the base down. Grab where my mouse is right now. So the observers will be in play for this fight, but Dark Templar do a lot of damage. As you saw, that shield really dropped on that. On the observer weirdly going into the base of Purple Wave, leaving the army. But now the second observer joining up with the army. And it's still strange to me that that Dark Templar kind of triggers Banana Brain's whole army to retreat. But this time we are seeing Banana Brain take an early natural, so it seems like this push was more designed to give it space and the ability to take its natural, as opposed to just being full aggression like last game. Now Purple Wave is taking his natural as well, but taking it slower than Banana Brain. So we are getting to a different game state here. Purple Wave feeling confident enough to move out here. Engaging with the army out in the open. The Dragoons getting some shots off, but being forced to retreat here to the bridges. The bridges could work. We do have a Reaver out. The Reaver shot going a bit awry there. They did get that Dark Templar, but the Reaver was weak, but not getting picked off by the Dragoons at the end there. Purple Wave deciding to re-engage with the pursuers rather, where it can, but it looks like it's well, it's maybe trading okay in this. Reinforcements are coming out though for both sides. I think Purple Wave may have the stronger macro at the moment, but that Reaver is putting in some work and really supporting this army, pushing them back. It looks like, yeah, Banana Brain is focusing on getting a third base here. We do have a couple of observers that keep dipping in and out. Meanwhile, Purple Wave is jumping up its gateway count. So Banana Brain going with this gateway and shuttle Reaver mix. Oh, and that shuttle, or the Reaver getting cut off from the army, the shuttle not picking it up. So now the Reaver was taken out. We do have another Reaver, though, just finished, and another one under construction, the shuttle, going ahead back to the main to go ahead and pick up that newly warped-in shuttle. But the lack of Reaver is allowing the macro that Purple Wave has set up to sort of push this army back. Banana Brain even going for a fourth expansion now behind its army, being very aggressive with its expansion count here, but I think these Reavers are really what's allowing it to do it. I'd like to take a quick look while this battle's going on at the gateway count. We only have 3 gateways for Banana Brain, it looks like. Meanwhile, Purple Wave has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways worth of production, but with the Reaver, it's just able to shut that down. Purple Wave does have High Templar now on the field, so it's opting for Templar tech, as I think we've seen it do it in almost all of its PvPs. Storm there, kind of missing a little bit, and then the High Templar being out of energy, trying to fall back and not quite being able to do much. Banana Brain's army here taking a 5th expansion even. Banana Brain is aiming for just taking over the map, but can't really spend the minerals. It is spending its gas. We are seeing the gateway count, though, climb for Banana Brain at this point in time. We are also seeing a Stargate come down, so perhaps we will see a transition to carriers here. Purple Wave, though, very much behind on the bases. I don't see any observers on the field, so Purple Wave is a bit behind and not able to scout that it's behind either. I think it is very much running a risk of being quickly overrun here. It is trying to take a third, but Banana Brain able to battle to it with its Reaver Shuttle Gateway army, and able to shut down that expansion. Purple Wave was trying to take that one for the gas. And we do have High Templar out for Banana Brain as well. So now we got the Tribunal, Arbiter Tribunal. So we'll see some Arbiters from Banana Brain potentially here. And yeah, it looks like the battle is now in Purple Wave's natural. Another storm going down. So I think Banana Brain is going to be able to take the production tab, as we can see, getting out of control. The macro from the 5 bases that Banana Brain has now taking a 6th, able to kick in. So Banana Brain able to stay alive to get that base count up, and then get the production facilities up to be able to take advantage of all of those bases. So good game from Banana Brain. The Reaver Shuttle really paying off. Beautiful Reaver Shuttle micro as well. Purple Wave just unfortunately unable to deal enough damage to take this win. And so actually with this, that ties it up to 1-1, and we'll be going on to game 3. So game 3 has us on Empire of the Sun, with Banana Brain spawning as the brown Protoss up at the top right, just after tying up this series 1-1. with a game where it managed to take 6 bases, up against Purple Wave spawning as the red Protoss down at the bottom right of the base here. So Empire of the Sun is a map where we have this really tiny entrance into the main. And the main is only separated from the outside by these really thin walls, which Terran players can pretty easily abuse with their siege tanks. Now, obviously, we have a Protoss versus Protoss, but just some interesting map features to note here. And again, we're seeing similar builds to the previous 2 games. Banana Brain going ahead and getting its gas. Oh, this time Purple Wave is also getting its gas. So after that loss, it has decided to go with a 1-gate core build, which seems to have similar timings to what Banana Brain is doing. The gas was a little bit late, or well, not late, but later than Banana Brain's. But the core was, I think, slightly faster. Banana Brain is opting to get a Zealot where it looks like Purple Wave is not. Banana Brain has scouted Purple Wave. Purple Wave has scouted Banana Brain, as we can see from the red dot on the minimap dancing around Banana Brain's base. The Dragoon is under construction, the first one for both of them. Banana Brains is going to go ahead and finish first. And with that, it's now got the 1 Zealot and 1 Dragoon. So Purple Wave getting its Dragoon out. Probably should sit back for the moment. I'm wondering, so we do have a second gateway under construction now for Purple Wave, so I'm wondering if we are going to see a 4-gate goon here for Purple Wave. Now we do have a second Dragoon down. Banana Brain seems to be doing the same build that it's done the previous 2 games, where it's going ahead and getting its robotics facility early. And we're getting 2 more gateways, so we'll be up to 3 gateways here pretty soon. Purple Wave is on 4 gateways now, so this is a 4-gate goon build that we are seeing here, and I imagine, yep, once one of those goons pops, it's going to go ahead and move out. This goon getting a little bit confused in where the army is supposed to move. So now it will be interesting to see. So we've got 3 gateways with the defender's advantage against 4 gateways essentially here. How is this going to play out? Both sides have goon range, so it may come down to micro here. Interesting, they're trading pretty evenly here. Purple Wave is up a goon though, due to having the 4 gateways. It looks like Banana Brain in response to this is throwing down a couple more gateways, so Purple Wave really needs to push this here before that macro can kick in. Purple Wave pushing the Banana Brain army back pretty far here. I really like the response by Banana Brain of getting those 2 extra gateways, realizing it's going to need that extra production, and I think it should be able to repel this 4-gate with that. The 3-gate positioned it very well to be able to defend this and transition into defending this. Purple Wave trying to delay the enemy army from reaching it. Meanwhile, Banana Brain behind this little push back is expanding. Purple Wave choosing to continue to engage with the enemy army here in the middle of the map. Now we've got a little bit of a standoff here, but gonna go ahead and engage. Banana Brain's army count fell a little bit here in comparison to Purple Wave, as it is investing some money into an expansion. But I don't think Purple Wave can quite get the advantage that it needs to be able to capitalize on that shift in investment. It is still just pumping out pure goons. We still only have the goon upgrade, or the range upgrade here in play. But I feel like right now Banana Brain's in the better position. We see Banana Brain now taking a third while continuing to engage with Purple Wave's army here, which means that more resources are going towards expansion. We can see the army is now being pushed back, but another wave of Zealots is about to finish up here. And now some Dragoons as well. I don't think Purple Wave's army is going to be strong enough. And Purple Wave trying to advance into the natural of Banana Brain here, missing the 3rd base that has been put down. Again, without the observers, not able to really scout 4 other bases engaging with the much larger army. Seeing the probe transfer, I wonder if that will tip Purple Wave off to the existence of this 3rd base, but it's a little bit late now as Banana Brain's army is enough to repel Purple Wave. Purple Wave falling back, trying to take advantage of this high ground here, but still trading about evenly here. And now that the numbers are greater for Banana Brain, losing too much of its army, being forced all the way back to its natural, not transitioning out of this 4 gate yet. I think if it doesn't do any sort of transition, this is going to be it for Purple Wave. It's not going to be able to keep up with the macro. It's already not able to keep up with the macro pretty much. I mean, we jumped up to the 5 gateways here for Banana Brain compared to Purple Wave's 4. Purple Wave has 3,500 minerals that it is floating right now. Easily could have dumped a bunch of Nexuses on the ground while all that fighting was going on, but choosing not to. Now the army just unsure of how to engage with the Dragoons of Banana Brain, dancing back while the main is under attack and letting it fall. Really should be engaging at this point no matter what, because if your buildings are falling in your main, that's not a good situation to be in. Now we see some sort of probe sacrifice happening here for Purple Wave, sending a probe into the enemy army consistently. Purple Wave, the Dragoons refusing to engage with Banana Brain's army, hiding betwixt the probes here as the last mineral chunk is being mined by them. Trying to rebuild its gateways even. I think Purple Wave may be locked into this 4 gate. The Dragoons now, finally that the Nexus falls, engaging with the army of Banana Brain, but it is a bit too late. Banana Brain taking the lead in this series with the Reaver now coming in, owning the entire top half of the map, coming up 2-1 against Purple Wave, headed into Game 4. So Game 4 has us watching Banana Brain spawning as the red Protoss up at the top right Tau Cross, and Purple Wave spawning on the left side of the map as the brown Protoss. So which build is Purple Wave going to try? It won the first game, I believe, on a crash by Banana Brain, with its 2-gate into Dark Templar opening. It then tried that again in Game 2, and Banana Brain was able to repel it using a mix of Gateway and Reavers while expanding a lot behind it before exploding in Gateways. So in Game 3, Purple Wave tried the 4-gate against Banana Brain, and was repelled because since Banana Brain went with a 3-gate, it was very quickly able to jump up to 5 gates and repel the 4-gate, and Purple Wave just unfortunately never transitioned out of that. It looks like we're seeing a 2-gate from both bots, so Banana Brain is also mixing it up. This will be interesting to see. I wonder if this could work against Banana Brain, because we're seeing 2 gateways from Purple Wave. I wonder if we're seeing that 2-gate play into Dark Templar again. And so if Banana Brain doesn't have the detection, it might not be able to withstand that. Now the scout is in for Purple Wave. It does see what's going on. Banana Brain, though, is now getting its gas, so perhaps it will be getting the cybernetics core soon, and then also the robotics facility and such. Purple Wave, seeing that it's up against a similar 2-gate, gonna go ahead and just stay at its natural in case Banana Brain tries to do any type of move in. Heard some attacks happening on a probe that might have been over here, because the probe for Banana Brain is still in Purple Wave space. It looks like Banana Brain is getting the Citadel of Adun as well, so it looks like we've got perhaps similar Dark Templar builds coming down. But Banana Brains seems to be faster right now. Purple Waves, and Purple Wave is not doing anything about this probe scout. Citadel of Adun just starting, but instead of the Templar Archives, we're getting 2 Dragoons for Banana Brain. Citadel of Adun almost finished. And now Purple Wave deciding to try and target down this probe. perhaps wanting to get it to try and stop it from seeing the Templar Archives, but the Templar Archives now coming down. The first Dark Templar, I believe, yep, is under construction as well as the second one. So Purple Wave trying to move up here to take its natural. Dark Templar are out on the field, but Banana Brain not moving out. Now moving out with the second one finished. Purple Wave is Dark Templar are almost finished here, so Banana Brain able to get the Dark Templar out faster. Army counts a little bit small, well, about the same size. Banana Brain falling back. Purple Wave choosing to engage, losing its... The Zealots scrambling to hide from the Dark Templar here. We do have a cannon coming down for Banana Brain. A robotics facility started for Purple Wave. Banana Brain's army, though... if the Dark Templar can't get, they're targeting the Zealots. The Zealots trying to defend the Dragoons here, which are very valuable. Meanwhile, the natural getting shut down for Purple Wave here by those 3 Dark Templar, but there is a cannon in the main. 1 Dark Templar able to escape the view or the range of that. Purple Wave will have the observatory down before. Oh! I missed this, so the army of Banana Brain falling back to the safety of the cannons, but that leaves these 2 gateways and this pylon here to fall. So Purple Wave, and the Observer is down, so going to be able to chase this Dark Templar down, I think. Dark Templar going for some probe kills, though. Able to get about 4, I think 4 probe kills there before the end. The Dark Templar here taking out what they can. They really need to stay out, though. Although an Observer is going to be out pretty soon and it's out now, so I guess at the end that doesn't matter. I think Purple Wave might be in a bit better position here than Banana Brain. Banana Brain now going out to take its natural. Purple Wave has perhaps the stronger army. A lot more Zealots. But Banana Brain has more Dragoons, so hard to say how that would work out. The army... Oh, okay. Was apparently scared, even though there was an Observer, to move out due to a Dark Templar that was just kind of chilling here. But once that cannon finished, then it was able to be cleaned up. Purple Wave feeling confident enough to move out. Dark Templar leading the charge, but finding, oh, there's an Observer there, so I should probably wait for the rest of the army. I wanted to be a hero and Leroy Jenkins this, but in the end, that got me killed. Hopefully it doesn't cause a party wipe from Purple Wave's perspective. This engagement here at the natural, I think Banana Brain is going to be able to repel this. Looks like some more Dark Templar under construction for Purple Wave. Purple Wave falling back. Banana Brain being able to clean this up. Now marching forward, just going to take a quick look at the upgrades. No weapon or shield or armor upgrades for either player at the moment. Purple Wave being pushed back across this bridge, forced to retreat all the way to its natural. Not sure if it's having some problems with its SimCity here. Seems to be having a few issues trying to get these Dragoons out, but has them out now. Sniping one of the Observers. Now we've got quite a bit of blue goop going on here. But Banana Brain coming out on top. Purple Wave seems to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways from what I can see. Meanwhile, Banana Brain is working on 1, 2, 3, 4 gateways. So Purple Wave slowly able, I think, to turn this, but the Reavers, which are what helped Banana Brain in Game 2, are on the way for Banana Brain. So it seems like Purple Wave can get to about here, but then Banana Brain's reinforcements are too much for Purple Wave to handle. The army movement is a bit interesting. I don't know if maybe these observers in the base are throwing off some of that unit movement. It is hard to say, but now we do have the switch to High Templar, so Banana Brain choosing to add in Reavers, Purple Wave choosing to add in High Templar, but it's looking like we've got quite the army here on the door. Decent Storm doing some damage to the Zealots, but not doing too much. Purple Wave now thinking about poking out of this natural, but looks like it's trying to take this base up, this, or not mineral only, sorry, but this third base up here, expanding towards its opponent. Now we do have the Shuttle Reaver in play here. Purple Wave choosing not to engage, but letting his opponent come across the bridge here, trying to sort of engage while they're crossing, but this is a much wider bridge, so it's not as punishing as some of the other maps. Nice sniping on that Reaver. The Dragoon's walking into the storm, but towards the end, so taking some additional damage. We do have now an Archon morphed, but no more. Just a couple more Zealots up at the front here. Banana Brain, though, behind all of this, while I've been watching these fights, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. So Purple Wave really battling to take this third, but while that's happening, falling behind in the base race. Banana Brain looking to try and close this out. Another nice two storms there on those Dragoons. A storm of Banana Brains also on the field. So High Templar out for both bots right now. Now we've got an Arbiter coming out for Banana Brain. We've got multiple observers though, so I'm not so worried about the cloak, but I wonder if we will see stasis. A lot of upgrades now out for both players. We are getting stasis for Banana Brain. But with this third having to be abandoned now by the probes, I don't know the Arbiters are really going to end up playing much of a factor here. Banana Brain, just as we can see the macro for Banana Brain, so much more right now than Purple Wave, with all of the bases that it was able to establish and the gateways that it was able to put up in its main. Looks like Banana Brain now battling into the natural of Purple Wave, trying to put this series away. Now with the army in the natural, or the probes, trying to do some defense, trying to do some drilling to throw off the AI of the Zealots, but they're quickly able to clean up all of those workers. Now working into the main, it looks like Banana Brain will move on to the semifinals up against, they just won the last match, but my brain is drawing a blank, up against Stardust for a Protoss versus Protoss, and Purple Wave will fall down to the losers round 3. So very interesting games from both of these bots here. Another storm on the observers, it looked like in Dark Templar there. And with that, we'll move on to the next series. Alright, so game 1 of Dragon versus Marion vecca has us spawning on Jade 1.0, with Dragon spawning as the brown Terran up at the top right of the map, and Marion spawning as the red Zerg down on the bottom right here. And the winner of this series will be going on to face Monster in the next one, so will either be treated to another TVZ or a ZVZ. It looks like Marion here is going ahead and scouting with its drone, and Dragon is scouting with its SCV here, having found Marion. Marion is scouting, it looks like, toward the middle of the map, and now checking for proxies, just making sure there's no barracks somewhere in the middle. And we do have a whole lot of SCVs coming. It looks like Dragon has stopped gathering minerals, which is a bit interesting. So it looks like this is just a full-blown SCV rush here. Got a few repairs going on, and it looks like trying to kill these drones here. It's very interesting. I don't think I've seen Dragon do this before. One drone has fallen now. Now we've got another SCV coming down into the fray. The spawning pool is complete, so Marion could get a Zergling, but is instead getting drones. It looks like this SCV rush is going to play out for Dragon. Not quite the game I was expecting, as the drones are now falling There is going to be, it looks like, a creep colony into a sunken, maybe. Okay, we got enough gold for the sunken, and now some of the SCVs are backing out. Mining has resumed, but this main is going to get wiped out here. Not what I expected at all from this. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen Dragon do this SCV rush before, so this was a bit of a surprise for me here. And then the drone is going, the last drone in the main there is going to fall. It is making another drone, so it's probably going to lose that one too. To these SCVs here in the main, but I don't... I mean, so this was a pretty successful SCV rush here, but Dragon is also going to be a bit behind too, because it cut out mining completely there for a little bit. Now, some of these SCVs will probably get away. Actually, all of them managed to get away. Last SCV here cleaning up this extractor, and then it's going to go ahead and try to escape. I like that the spawning pool is just being built in the main on the creep that is slowly disappearing. I think that larva actually died from creep, but it looked like the SCV was what killed it. Yeah, as this poor larva slowly died. And now there's another SCV here that's trying to scout, but can't really because of this sunken. So I'm curious how Marion is going to shift its play. I mean, we're kind of in a similar spot where we would be, although there are two overlords over here, so that's going to hurt a lot if it loses both of those. Should really pull those out of Dragon's base. But Marion kind of coming out no worse for wear. I mean, it does lose one base, so it's as if it lost one of its hatcheries, but it still has the spawning pool now. Is a little bit behind, but Dragon is also behind due to all that lost mining time. I think this is still going to play out in Dragon's favor, but we'll just have to watch and see. Dragon is getting its gas, so probably going to see a factory start up. Yep, we do. Marion getting the lair here. Looks like Marion close to enough for a hatchery, moves a drone into place, and will now go ahead and re-expand. Probably could have held off on getting your lair in this situation if your plan was to go and get that second hatchery, because right now you've got the lair and it's not really doing much for you. And you could have got that hatchery that much sooner, about 150 minerals sooner. Meanwhile, Dragon is looking pretty ahead here, getting up to 3 factories now, so it looks like it's going to do, and now an armory as well. Oh, sorry, a second factory and a engineering bay that was. I thought that was 2 factories. Also getting a starport and some turrets, so it looks like Dragon is planning on being pretty aggressive here. Marion going to go ahead and retake the second gas, and also get a sunken set up over in the main to protect against any vulture run-bys that could be afoot. We're also getting our spire now. Now that that is complete, we don't really have the money though to get mutalisks, so everything is just a little bit off now because of that initial SCV rush. And Goliaths are coming out for Marion, so should be able to handle the small number of mutalisks, although one Goliath by itself is not going to be enough. But as I said, the mutalisk cloud is still a bit low. Put up, and the SCV just able to finish before the mutalisks arrive. But now all of this production here is pretty wide open. Marion's going to be able to do some things there, and also this is just not covered at all by anti-air. I mean, the mutalisks, or not the mutalisks, the Goliath and the Valkyrie are going to be able to force these mutalisks out, but now Dragon's army is all the way back at its natural, and Marion has some breathing room. I still think Marion is in a bit of a precarious position. Looks like it's getting its Hydralisk den and thinking about switching over to Lurkers at this point, as we are seeing Hydralisks being produced now. But yeah, I think it does have 10 Mutalisks out in place, so still a bit of a formidable Mutalisk cloud. I feel like maybe the Mutalisks would be the better option to stick with here. There's still plenty of harassment opportunities at this natural, especially down in this southern region here, but The gas carrying SCVs are not extra explosive for carrying those. For some reason, the Hydralisks kind of wandered up there and we're just like, oh, hey, what's going on? Okay, we'll back off. But now the Zerg army moving out a little bit, engaging with some of this anti-air, trying to take out those Valkyrie, taking a lot of damage from them. Now the Hydralisks engaging as Hydralisks. Let's see, do we have... We do not have Lurker Aspect, so it looks like we're just getting Hydralisks, which is not a bad response to mech, especially when we have not seen siege tanks yet. Now Dragon is going to try and take its third here. Its army is a little bit disjointed, but so is Marion's. And it's mainly just the air that's disjointed right now, just kind of dancing around everywhere. I don't know where the Mutalisks are at the moment, but they are not helping with the Hydralisks, but we are seeing a pretty steady stream of Hydralisks being formed. Marion is taking now over the left side's natural base, so looking to expand up to 3 bases here. Being able to push back Dragon into its natural due to the lack of siege tanks. And now it's just kind of ravaging this natural here. It's looking a lot like Marion may be able to pull this as a win for itself, which is not what I was expecting after that SCV rush, but really they were looking after the end of that relatively even, maybe Zerg ever so slightly behind since it lost a hatchery. But now Dragon's able to take back control of its natural, force the Zerg out of that. Looking a lot better right now. Nice irradiate there from the science vessel. 2 Hydralisks drop down, but Dragon not able to push the small Hydralisk force out very far. And there is the Overlord for seeing the mines. Nothing is in the bunker, so the bunker is just kind of a damage soaker right now. Marion behind this, just pumping the Hydralisks out. Some of the reinforcements are getting caught off, though, by these fast vultures. But still no siege tanks from from Dragon. And there's also the 10 Mutalisks still chilling somewhere. Don't know where they are. This base over here on the left not being used to gather minerals just yet. Oh, I think I saw the Mutalisks there. They're dancing a little bit. So it looks like all of Marion's production right now is going into Hydralisks and Overlord. So it's really committing to this fight here. Can't quite get back into the natural like it was a little bit ago. And Dragon, this third base here, seems pretty vulnerable. But Marion not quite able to push up into it either, and I'm not sure if it knows that that base exists. So being on even bases, I think Dragon will have the ability to pull ahead in this. Okay, so Marion has now found this third base. It is moving to take out as many SCVs as it can. Targeting the SCVs specifically, but Dragon able to keep this base pretty alive. Now we do have a dropship here that was picking up some SCVs. I'm curious, at least I believe it was picking up SCVs. I'm kind of trying to follow it to see what's going on here. Dragon has taken 2 more bases, while Marion is still just on essentially 2 bases, with a macro hatch placed at a third, but no drones gathering from there yet. The fighting has now come into Marion's side of the map here. If we take a quick look at the upgrades, we just have the +1 attack for Marion. No, don't have the armor upgrade. Now we have the siege tanks out on the field for Dragon. I feel that's going to really allow it to push in and handle with these Hydralisks, but the mech army for Dragon is also at 2-2 and working on going up to 3-3. Will be 3 attack 2 defense soon here. So I think the upgrades are really going to help, as well as the siege mode that we've got going on here. And now it's just on Marion here, the tank slowly whittling down this den. getting a quick scan there. The anti-air is in position to defend the Mutalisk Cloud, trying to see if there's a way that they can do something. I really would have liked to have seen that Mutalisk Cloud be more aggressive and harassing. That in combination with the Hydralisks, or even just around the Hydralisks, because the Hydralisks could have kept the Valkyrie and the anti-air down. Would have been a pretty powerful combination, but instead now we're seeing this line where there's just a single tank doing some work, protected by all this anti-air, the science vessels and the Valkyrie, and then just this line of Goliaths behind it, and the SCVs that are just repairing any units that they can near it. I think this is going to be the end of game 1 for Marion here. Not much that I'm thinking it can do in this scenario. Mutalisks were trying to do something there, but I think there were just 2 left. They got irradiated together right away. This lone Wraith here. Now, the anti-dropship dropping the vultures. Gonna go ahead and clean up that, essentially that macro hatchery, since it never got to mining. But technically it's a 3rd base. And now Dragon moving in here, slowly moving into the main, kind of doing like a stutter stepping type thing. And Dragon has taken over this whole upper left side of the map. So very impressive game from Dragon, and quite the pleasant surprise with the SCV rush. Marion for a little bit there seemed like they had a chance to pull through here with this game when they were able to break into the natural, but Dragon was able to turn that around, push Marion out of the natural, and take back control slowly of the game. Very well played. And execution, good execution from Dragon, and good recovery from Marion to make this a pretty close game for quite a while. With the last building fallen, that'll be the GG for Dragon. And Dragon will go up 1-0 in this best of 3. Let's get into game 2. So game 2 sees Dragon trying to close out this series 2-0, spawning as the brown Terran at the top right of Andromeda 1.0, and Marion de Vecca spawning as the yellow Zerg up at the top left of the map, trying to tie things up to stay alive in this series and in this tournament. So last time we saw a surprising SCV rush from Dragon, which was really cool to see. I wonder if we will see something similar this game, or if it's going to go ahead and change tactics. It is not scouting yet, and this is a 4-player map, so I think we're going to see something a bit more traditional from Dragon this time. Marion is scouting the middle for... Oh, nope, we are seeing that SCV rush again. And we have the scouting SCV here harassing. This SCV rush actually seems to be coming a little bit earlier. So I guess I had missed the initial scout, or scouts that went out. Now the sunken colony, or not, sorry, the sunken, the spawning colony is coming down. Spawning pool, I could say the right words. I'm going to go ahead and close the production. Actually, I'll just move the production tab for the down by the mini-map here. But yeah, if we're watching this here, this seems to have come a bit early. The drones are falling. This may be a very, very quick game. There's only 3 drones left. We do have 1 under production. We have no money. The drones were just still gathering gas until they got attacked. And yeah, I think this is going to be the game. There are no more drones out for Marion. A large chunk of the SCVs going home. Feeling their job is done. This SCV attacking this larva is rather cute. But yeah, it looks like Dragon is already starting to transition. Oh wait, there is 1 drone alive, so there's a chance Marion could come back in some fashion, but 0 minerals, 1 drone against a fully workered up Dragon. I think this CV killing the larva are pretty funny. But yeah, now this hatchery is going to fall. And then Dragon will probably send more of these SCVs home. Now this one drone is probably going to mean that the game is not quite over yet, but I have a feeling once Dragon is able to get some vultures, it's going to be done. Because these SCVs are going to go ahead and clear. I am watching to see if Marion will get any additional drones. It doesn't look like it is right now. On 100... 120. It's not saving up for a hatchery and then going to morph its last drone into a hatchery, is it? Kind of curious if that's what's going to happen or not. The spawning pool, though, at least will fall. Most likely. This SCV is just not sure what to do. It's just kind of dancing around up there. Wiggling around a little bit. But back home, Dragon has a few SCVs, or sorry, Marines, but for some reason, none of them want to attack this Overlord here. And it is morphing a lair. It was saving up for a lair. Okay. Before the spawning pool falls, it got the lair morph off. Still no workers under production with and it uses its last drone without enough money for another drone. Oh dear. Again, I don't normally like to speed games up in the elimination phase, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump up to 4 speed because Marion just went ahead and used its last drone without enough money to fix it. I suspect that Marion Vecca was never really programmed with getting worker rushed in mind, although there is the infamous stone SCV rush bot that I believe is still around on the ladders. I don't think it participates, though, in tournaments because it is done by the same author as Ironbot. And then Dragon's going to go ahead and clean this up. And we will, next week, get another TVZ with Dragon against Monster in the losers bracket round 4. And so let's go ahead and get into our last series for today. So our final series of today, we are watching Haupan spawning as the purple Terran up at the top right of La Mancha 1.1, going up against Crazy OP, blue Protoss down at the bottom right. The winner of this series will be moving on to face off against Purple Wave in the losers bracket round 4. Wait, yeah, the winner of this will be moving on to do that, I believe is what I said, and then the loser will be eliminated from the tournament. The Haupan is opening up by getting a supply depot here down by the ramp, so it's looking like it's probably going to do some type of wall here. We do have the barracks, and so then I suspect there will be another supply depot in this area. Crazy OP is going ahead, did get an in-base pylon and then forge, and then is getting a pylon here outside of the natural choke. Haupan is now aware that this is a thing. Doesn't seem to be too worried about it, and really I wouldn't be either. You have great coverage here of attacking this from the high ground with your cannons, and you can keep a probe from sitting on this high ground here to spot your units and buildings pretty easily with some Marines behind the wall. They can't be harassed by the probe. So in theory, as long as Haupan is going for siege mode and tanks pretty early, it should be in a pretty good position to be able to bust out of this. And probably would be able to do so a bit faster. Now we are seeing a second factory come down, it looks like, or no, that's a command center, so yeah, I'm thinking that we're probably going to see a 1 factory siege expand. But we'll see, especially since we're getting... What are we getting? Yep, we are getting siege mode and the siege tank. Oh, but this can see that with the probe position there. I did not think that was going to be possible since that's low ground and high ground. So that's a bit interesting, but siege mode is going to finish here pretty soon. As long as they don't... Yeah, there we go. Now it can siege and it can safely take on these. Although we probably shouldn't float the command center out. So they will delay this command center getting out there a little bit, but siege tanks able to easily outrange cannons. As the siege tank count rises, they should be able to handle this little contained pretty easily. Meanwhile, back behind this, Crazy OP getting its second gas, getting its cybernetic score, so it is trying to tech quickly to the Dark Templar tech. Gets the command center landed. It will take out this pylon now, and then the tanks will slowly work on the cannons that are up at the front here. So the contain for Crazio did delay this natural a little bit, but going ahead and being torn down now by Halpan. I'm trying to watch the production tab a little bit here and see we do have the Citadel of Adun, so then we'll see the Templar Archives. The question though is, will it be on time? The engineering bay does finish, so we can throw down turrets, which we do have in the main going on right now. So the worker line should be protected from Dark Templar. I'm not seeing any turrets in the natural at the moment. Crazy OP having to replace the pylons that are getting torn down up here, as that teardown is cutting into supply a bit. Mines are being planted, which mines will trigger on Dark Templar even if they are undetected, so that will work as a bit of a protection against it. And now we have a bunker being placed up here at the natural, which I feel like really isn't needed. As okay, now we are getting a few Marines, but the bunker also though can play a bit of a role because bots are not able to tell if a bunker is loaded or not unless they actually watch for bullets. And then you also get information on who the source of the bullet is. But we are pushing into it. You do have the Dark Templar out now with no mobile. Oh, and the Dark Templar gets taken out by 2 mines. First one hit a little bit earlier, and then that one just hit now. So the mines doing their job to take out the Dark Templar. I thought it might be able to give this push a little bit of trouble, but really Halpan just being aggressive and pushed out very quickly after taking its natural. I think I might have heard a comsat scan, so these Dark Templar might be able to push this back, but a lot of damage has been done at this point. This tank trying to take out what it can on its way out. Crazy OP able to repel that attack just a little bit. It looks like it did try to expand up to this third interesting position of the Nexus. Very close to the bridge here instead of being as close as it can to the minerals and the gas, but more reinforcements from Halpan are coming down. We do have comsat stations at this point. I am hearing the scans going off. There's a large number of SCVs sitting idle though, which is a bit odd. It looks like they may have been in anticipation of this third base here, but the building SCV kind of got sniped. But even with all of those idle workers, I think we're gonna be able to win this here for Halpan. And while new idle units can be a sign that a replay has desynced, I am confident that that does not happen in this case because all of the army units are still going. So I think once this command center finishes, we will probably see, and I'm watching. Will these SCVs now move? That SCV just finished, or that, no, we just have a lot of idle workers, which is a bit odd. I still don't think that this replay desynced, but Crazy OP is going to give the good game over to Halpan. And I'll just make sure real quick here that that is the proper outcome for this game. Let's see here. Oops, I clicked the thing. Yes, the winner is indeed Halpan for game 1. So going up 1-0 against Crazy OP, we'll go ahead and jump into game 2. So game 2 sees us here with Halpan spawning at the top right of circuit breakers as the yellow Terran looking to seal the deal here and move on to face purple wave. And Crazy OP fighting to stay alive in the tournament here, spawning at the bottom left of the map as the red Protoss. So looking to see here if we're going to see similar builds, if we'll see that siege expand from Halpan along with the cannon contained from Crazy OP. We do have a very early probe scout here, so it's looking like we'll see a bit of the same. This map, again, it is high ground to low ground, which will work in Halpan's favor. The scout probe here indeed finding Halpan's position, being chased out by an SCV. The second probe coming in here to lay down the pylon, and it looks like Halpan is able to wall on this map and is doing so. So I suspect we're going to see similar builds here. Curious if we will be seeing a similar play out of the games. The cannons are now started for Crazy OP. The biggest question for this, so like what Crazy OP is working on, is this cannon contain into Dark Templar. But it feels like against the siege expand, like the... Is this a wall? Yeah, I think that is with the positioning, but man, does that wall look funky. Because it looks like there's such a large gap there. But it's probably not Zergling proof, but I bet it is Zealot proof. So Crazy OP is doing like this cannon contain into Dark Templar. So the question is, can Crazy OP get the Dark Templar out fast enough against the siege expand that Halpan is doing? And the answer to that in the last game we just watched was no, it could not. It does seem to be getting the cybernetics core though a bit faster this time, so it is getting a Dragoon though. I would have rather have seen it rush. It is getting cannons back home, which is interesting. So it seems like it plopped 3 cannons down and then just abandoned this cannon contain. So the siege tank is out. It does have siege mode, so going to be able to take out these cannons. But the command center is not going to be able to land until that cannon is, this one here, is taken out. And they are able to do so from the high ground, and so they are. Now Halpan should be free to take its natural. But does have to be a little bit careful around the choke, as there is the tank, but the siege tanks are going to, or sorry, the cannon. But the siege tanks are going to be able to come down here, clean up that last cannon and pylon. The Dark Templar are under construction. Crazy OP is going ahead and taking its natural at this point. So Crazy OP did transition a little bit earlier. We have the mines. So mines can be laid to protect against the Dark Templar. We are getting our engineering bay just now though. And now Halpan knows that the Dark Templar are out. So I don't know if these vultures have laid their mines or not. I'm guessing that they have, since they're some of the early ones. The Dark Templar are just kind of out on the map and hunting right now. There is one close mine, and it's gonna almost take out that Dark Templar. It is very weak now. One mine should be able to finish it off. There's an attempt at a transfer here to a third. Crazio really expanding in this match. Possibly due to how large the map is and how far away its opponent is. But some of the probes are just getting caught in the transfer. Finally able to get them through after that one vulture gets picked up. Now we have our comsats. There are turrets back home. So Halpan should be relatively safe from the, to the Dark Templar. I think they got hit by that mine. Another couple of mines going off this Dark Templar, just barely surviving. But the one thing with comsat scans are that in the beginning, you're going to be pretty limited with them. They're 50 energy, and that's exactly what a comsat station starts with. So a bit limited in being able to constantly engage with the moving Dark Templar, but the mines should sort of help with that a bit. Now, getting another scan off here, picking off a Dark Templar, getting some damage on the others, but these vultures not really able to do a whole lot. Crazy OP taking yet another expansion. Halpan has taken his third though, so with all of these vultures, even though they're not doing a whole lot of damage directly, they are keeping Crazy OP back around his bases, and he is pretty much flooding the Dark Templar. And while this has been going on, he is making a switch to carriers, but now we're getting the siege tanks up front. The Dark Templar were able to take one siege tank out, but I think there is the second one here. The question is, can Crazio keep the siege tank numbers low and keep that pressure off long enough for the strength of the carriers to kick in? Halpan does have some Goliaths, though, which will help with any carriers that are able to get a larger number of interceptors here. Trying to get this tank. It does manage to get that tank there at the bridge. There are 2 others, but being pushed back by the limited scans that it has. Able to clean up that Dark Templar, though, and then going to go ahead and move forward a bit here. There are 2 tanks that sieged back a bit just in case. Now, these probes, unfortunately, getting taken out. We do have a couple of carriers out. The interceptors are under construction, but the interceptor count is not too high. Gonna be forced to bring these out though to try and take down these tanks so that the base can remain safe. The probes were panicking a little bit, but managed to stay safe. Now the Goliath count, I think, is pretty low at the moment. Only 7 of them, but now we're seeing nothing but Goliaths being produced for Haupan. So seeing this tech switch goes, okay, I need to get some more anti-air. Just looking at the upgrades really quick, we do have the 1-1. Or actually, rather, we only have the 1 attack, as well as the range upgrade for the Goliaths. The armor upgrade is not there yet. We do have the interceptor upgrade, capacity upgrade for Crazy OP, along with attack 2, or level 2 being worked on for air. Now being forced back a little bit by the larger number of Goliaths that are out on the field. They're mostly engaging with the interceptors, but I think they are managing to keep the interceptor count lower. There are no SCVs with this army to repair, so the damage that the Goliaths take will be, I guess, semi-permanent. So at the very least not going to be very quickly removed anytime soon. Crazy OP is continuing with its expansion quest here, taking another base over here, but it is kind of causing the carriers to spread. So we only have 2 carriers here and a large number of Goliaths. And then we've got, I thought it was 3, but it looks like 2 now, so maybe one of the carriers got taken out and a smaller number of Goliaths. I think that's actually going to work. Okay, we have 3 carriers here now. But I think the splitting of Crazy OP's army is going to work in Haupan's favor. Meanwhile, Haupan has expanded behind this a couple more times here. Both the bases with gas. So recognizing that it's going to need that gas descent, there's barely any gas because it is just pumping out Goliaths at this point. But the carrier count for Crazy OP is climbing. And if it can sort of hit like a critical mass, I don't know that Haupan can get the numbers of Goliaths that it's going to need. But this is a new fresh pack of Goliaths here. Engaging with the carriers. It looks like they're trying to get hits on the carriers where they can, but not wanting to take too much damage from too many interceptors at once. Another couple of Goliaths are falling here. Carriers are kind of getting surrounded here, being out in the open. There's no real cliffs that they can abuse to get a range advantage against these Goliaths. But Crazy OP doing a pretty good job here of keeping the carriers alive. Some of them are getting relatively low health, though, down into the yellow. There is 2 in the red now. So these Goliaths are definitely doing some work. The production tab is rather long for Crazy OP, but a lot of it is interceptors. Kind of wish we could check the actual interceptor count on these carriers. Now it's got a cliff that it can kind of abuse. Picking off some of these Goliaths here. Looks like we're also expanding where the carriers are. So we can't expand here. I don't think Crazy OP has mobile detection just yet. There was 1 carrier that fell. Haupan almost maxed out. Crazy OP almost maxed out. So we're sort of seeing what I think are going to be the endgame armies here. Haupan pushing into this space. Crazy OP could let this fall if it wanted to, as this is just a new expansion that's been put up. Meanwhile, there is some fighting going on down here. Where there's an advance that's kind of trying to make it into the natural, but unable to do so. But I think this is kind of where the main fight is. We just saw 2 carriers fall. And now the carriers are being forced to scatter, and this new expansion is being pushed down. These carriers abusing this little spot here where they can hide. And now Haupan drawing this attention. Instead of clearing out this mine, it's just, yeah, I'll just build next to you. It's fine. You can just chill their mine. It's all good. So the Goliaths trying to hunt down these carriers. A lot of production going on for both of these bots. Just checking the upgrades. Attack 3 for Crazy OP is complete. Haupan happy to sit on 1-1 right now. We've got one siege. How many siege tanks are there on the field? Only the one. So really, Halpon just focusing on combating the carriers right now. Not really worried about pushing into any entrenched spaces, though there is some fighting a little bit around that to sort of draw some of the carriers separate from the main carrier group. This is a lot of carriers here. And a lot of interceptors being targeted down by these Goliaths. I'm kind of surprised that they're not focus firing as much on the carriers, but some carriers are taking hits, like this one right here that has just dropped into the yellow was taking some direct hits from, and it's taking some more. So it looks like Halpon's not really targeting the weakest carriers, but it's able to replace the Goliaths pretty quickly. Crazy OP is maxed out here. It almost feels a bit like we're watching a like a fastest map fight or something like that, where Terran's just all Goliaths, just hit G, and Protoss is like, I'll just spam C and I all day. Not saying that those type of matches aren't fun to watch, because this is definitely pretty fun here. And the game unexpectedly ends. So I'm not sure if this ended in a crash. I'm guessing that this had to end in a crash. So I'm going to go ahead and check who is the winner for this match. Let's see. It was Crazy OP. So my best guess is that unfortunately Halpon encountered a crash in this game. Just looking at the state of it, we'll kind of examine a little bit here before we jump into game 3 like we did with the other game where we had a crash. The resources and we're almost splitting the map evenly here. Halpon has this whole left side except for this base here. Really hard to say who was gonna win this. When it comes to the upgrades, 1-1. It does feel like Crazy OP is more able to gain ground in this match. Halpon has another expansion here that they could take. Increase their gas. A lot of, what are those? The machine shops. There's a few factories that don't have it. It doesn't seem like it really needs machine shops on every single factory that it has when it's just pumping out Goliaths, but that would allow it to very quickly shift into siege tanks if it needed to. So really, the state of this game, it could have gone either way, so it's unfortunate to see Halpon crash. But with that, Crazy OP ties it up to 1-1, and we'll go on to the final final game of this series, Game 3. So the final game of this series, Game 3, tied up 1-1. We are on Circuit Breakers again, with Halpon spawning as the orange Terran at the bottom left of the map here, and Crazy OP spawning as the red Protoss, and Halpon is the orange Terran in case I said orange Protoss. So the red Protoss up at the top left. I'm curious if Halpon will do a different strategy this game. Looks like it's going to go with the same one here. So hopefully Halpon is able to avoid crashing in this game 3 here, especially since if it loses, it will be eliminated. Crazy OP, there's a bit of a different timing to the distance between the bases here since we are not cross spawn. So I'm wondering if the timing of the tech switches that Crazy OP does from Cannon Contain to Dark Templar to Carrier will play out in the same way that it was in Game 2 for it. Halpon now scouting with the SCV sees the Cannon Contain, so it knows it's there. It knows that that is there. Not too worried about it though, as if it is indeed going Siege Contain, let's get back on the production tab here. Or not Siege Contain, sorry, Siege Expand. It should be relatively safe. Crazy OP getting the gateway. I'm just kind of trying to watch. It is getting its assimilator. Looks like it's not getting more pylons or more cannons, so it looks like we will be seeing a quick switch over to Dark Templar again for Crazy OP. You see the Cybernetics core come down. So I think we're going to see a similar timing workout here. Oh, I just learned something new about OpenBW. I didn't know you could right-click on the map and then scroll with the mouse. That's pretty groovy. I might be able to use that a little bit. Learn something new every day. But so, yep, Crazy OP. There's the Citadel of Adun. So we're working our way to that Dark Templar tech. The position of the cannons, though, are going to allow this natural to come down at a pretty normal timing. Yeah, unable to get any shots off on the command center. So really the cannon's not delaying anything and acting almost as more of a hindrance in this particular case, because that's 400, 500 minerals just thrown at the natural that you're allowing to destroy and you're not getting any value out of it. A bit unfortunate to see with that placement, but we do have our natural now coming down for Crazy OP. The Dark Templar are now under construction since the Templar Archives is finished. So it's nice that Crazy OP has that gas and those minerals banked up to immediately get those two Dark Templars started at the same time so they'll both come out. These last cannons are going to fall. Turrets are coming down, so the engineering bay I think may have finished a little bit earlier this game than it did last game. I'm thinking that the turret timing changing could be because this natural was not delayed. I'm going to be able to sort of clean that up. Now we have the Dark Templar, so we do have our comsat station, so we're going to be able to scan, but scans are going to be very limited in the beginning. Now mine, oh, okay, it only took 1 damage, and another mine, I think, was sniped by the Dark Templar there, but able to take out 1 Dark Templar. We're already getting our starports. Oh, and these 2 mines, I think those are 2 mines, are stacked and freaking out. I think they're going to be doing that for a little while, so we'll kind of... Okay, they had stopped. I think that actually might have just been 1 mine that was freaking out there. But now we do have... We're seeing the same sort of thing here where the vultures are coming up and interrupting this probe transfer. But we already have our carriers under construction. So it looks like we're going to get a similar game this time that we had in Game 2, assuming that Haupan can keep the tank count low and keep the tanks back. There's only 3 out right now, so they could still pose an issue. The engineering bay getting a little bit beat up here. And if we right-click, just single right-click without moving the mouse, then we will get the right-click menu. Another Stargate just finishing up, so we can have 3 carriers under construction at a time right now. But now probes are getting picked off and this middle is falling. It looks like there's no army at the moment to defend. In the last game there were a couple of zealots and dragoons that could come down and clear this out, but now the 4 tanks, they are pressuring into this natural. There is 1 dragoon on the other side of the army getting sniped by this tank here. A lot of probe losses. Crazy OP down to 30-some. This natural being overrun. I don't think the interceptors are going to be in place in time. The carriers just sitting there idle, not engaging with the army yet. Crazy OP needs to move these into play to scare off these tanks. It's not over just yet, but it is losing a lot of workers, and Haupan has taken its 3rd. Now a carrier getting engaged. I don't know if it was waiting to get full interceptors before engaging or not. Going to clean up some of these tanks here. So yeah, going to be able to repel this attack, I think. There's really not enough Goliaths out as part of this. Now the second carrier, yeah, so the carriers were just sitting idle until they were full up on interceptors, it appears. So I accidentally closed the production tab there. But now we're seeing the switch to full Goliath here for Haupan to deal with these carriers. We are getting at least 1 tank though. So we have 3 tanks right now. But the carriers are going to go ahead and scare off the army of Haupan. The one issue for Crazy OP though is that it did lose a lot of workers. It's down to, it is quickly climbing though. It's at 47. Just a moment ago it was like at 44, I think it was. So we're a little over half the workers that Haupan has. But that is going to hurt us for a bit. And we're not able to mine from the third as there is still a pack of vultures causing some problems. And now we're getting pushed into with these Goliaths here. Few scans going off as there are some Dark Templar, but not taking any shots off on the Dark Templar, unfortunately, with this. Although now the Dark Templar is going to fall before these mines could cause some problems for Haupan by exploding too close to its own units. And now the carriers combined as a force, pushing these Goliaths back. Working together to do so. This third is now free to mine. The natural has been good to mine for quite a bit now. Crazy OP throwing down another starport. Getting some more pylons for supply. It's Crazy OP starting to get to a point, I think, where it can maybe stabilize, but I think it might be struggling with interceptor counts here because a lot of the carriers are choosing to not engage. And these Goliaths are kind of just sniping these interceptors, so the carrier count may not have been quite high enough, fast enough for Crazy OP to deal with the number of Goliaths that it has right now. And the one tank being well protected by the Goliaths, trying to get in range of those cannons, but not quite there. Now that it is, it's actually being taken out by a Dragoon. Crazy OP going ahead and taking a fourth. This third has been shut down again as the army chose, instead of going for the natural, to come up along this path here. That does give the carriers this high ground to take advantage of though. So this may be their opportunity to clean up these Goliaths. So it really depends on how well the Goliaths are going to clear out those interceptors. But now the carriers exposing themselves a fair bit here, but they were able to knock those Goliath numbers down. We're down to less than 20 Goliaths at the moment. Now fighting at the bridge again, which is another spot that Crazy OP could take advantage of. One thing that I'm noticing Haupan's not really doing and committing to these fights with the carriers is just moving the Goliaths under the carriers more. They're just almost firing from the edge of their range when really they could just get underneath the carriers and just blast up, so that way if the carriers choose to retreat, they have to cover more ground to retreat, which gives the Goliaths more shots off on the carriers. But it's also a bit of a numbers game too, because you know, there's enough carriers and interceptors, they can just clean up your Goliaths relatively quick. But able to score a carrier kill there. Crazy OP trying to replace it somewhat quickly, but with its third being shut down from mining for so long, the main is mined out. It might not have the resources to sustain this war. Haupan having taken over the entire bottom of the map, just about like one base short of doing so. I think Haupan is in a stronger position in this particular game 3 than it was in game 2. So now still pumping out. It also has a much higher tank count in this fight. In the last game it was like at just a constant 1 tank for quite a while, whereas it is currently sitting at 8 tanks. There's a lot of fighting happening on this bridge though. This bridge is really working to Crazy OP's advantage, but it is finally getting to mine from this third here, which is really going to help its interceptor production, which it needs to keep up against these Goliaths, and also with producing new carriers. But there is a vulture that's getting some kills still. The interceptors keep launching out to fire on it, but now finally a brand new carrier coming over and cleaning up that vulture. And now we have some fighting going on here, trying to take advantage of the cliffs here in this fight against the Goliaths. Things getting a bit spread out, which is not advantageous for the Goliaths. Crazy OP trying to give itself some breathing room, trying to take a new base as well as the natural is mined out, so it's on one mining base right now. Really needs to get that fourth established to get those minerals. The tanks here trying to kind of find a way to squeak in here, but it's also leaving them exposed to these carriers. And now fighting... Where they're fighting, not really giving themselves too much of advantage, the carriers, with jumping between this base, the low ground of this base and the high ground over here, but these carriers are repelling this Goliath force from Hao Pan, and just checking the upgrades again, sitting at just the 1-1, while Crazy OP has the the level 3 attack. This fourth base getting established, providing the precious minerals that Crazy OP needs, and now Hao Pan's just not able to get a critical mass of Goliaths, sending them few at a time to the carriers. The Protoss, the golden armada of the Protoss, coming into the natural of Hao Pan now, which is something that we didn't quite get to see in Game 2. Going to clean this up very quickly. Hao Pan, though, has... I think the resource, the gas is really low though for Hao Pan, which is where it is struggling. I was gonna say Hao Pan could almost let this main fall and just very quickly reestablish the factories over here and the supply depots over here, since this main is mined out, but it wouldn't have the gas anyway. I think Crazy OP is turning this game 3 into a win here, it looks like, and now taking some more bases. It was able to get this third mining again, which it desperately needed, and once it was able to do that, it was just able to keep its carrier numbers up, abuse the ground up here, to get the advantage over the Goliaths. And that mine is freaking out again on the bridge, it looks like. I think that's actually that's two stacked mines, so I think that's why they're stuck freaking out. But those mines are not really going to be able to do much of anything against the golden armada of the Protoss. Very well played game by both of these bots. It's unfortunate to see the crash from Hao Pan in Game 2, which really could have gone either way. And Game 3 for a bit was looking to be in Hao Pan's favor, but Hao Pan just not able to seal the deal there when it had that third shut down, and Crazy OP able to keep it alive, get the third back up and running, and then even take a fourth base once the natural had run out of minerals. Very well deserved win by Crazy OP here. And Crazy OP will again be moving on to face Purple Wave for a little Protoss versus Protoss action. And just looking at Crazy OP's match-up history here, I don't think we've seen Crazy OP... Oh wait, we did see Crazy OP in a Protoss versus Protoss in the winners round 2 against Stardust, where it's lost. So I think we've seen Crazy OP play in just about every matchup that you can have. Coming back to clean up the main here. Hao Pan is trying to rebuild in this secondary main, but I think it might be a little bit too late, and it just does not have the gas income to do so. Crazy OP taking over more of the map. I like how it's just like, oh, you've got a mine there, I'll just build the Nexus a little bit off, I don't care. That just amuses me. More worker transfers here. I was a bit worried in this match for Crazy OP when Hao Pan was able to go up to 80 workers and knock Crazy OP down to close to 40 workers. That was a bit worrying there, because I didn't know if Crazy OP was going to be able to hang on to get its economy going, to get that to rebound in this, but it was able to do so in the end. Pretty cool series, and again, like last Sunday's cast, how we had the match down to the wire be the last series that we watch. We get that again here today. Always exciting when we get to a Game 3 and a best of 3, or a Game 5 and a best of 5. And as the final buildings fall for Hao Pan, Crazy OP moves on to the losers round for winning the series 2-1. So with the conclusion of that series, we can take another look here at the bracket. We'll just cut it down to the round 3 and the semifinals. We watched Stardust move on in the winners bracket to the semifinals to face off against Banana Brain. Monster and Purple Wave dropping down into the losers bracket round 4, where we determined that they will be playing Dragon. Monster will be playing Dragon after it toppled Marion to Vecca with some pretty cheeky SCV rushes, which were pretty cool to watch. Again, I don't believe that I've seen Dragon do that, so that caught me by surprise. And we had Purple Wave dropping down to play against Crazy OP, where we saw some very macro-heavy games between Crazy OP and Halpon, with Crazy OP ultimately taking the win. So next cast will be, I believe, the semifinals, the losers round 4, and also the losers round 5, which will then just leave the finals to be played. The finals will end up being the winner between Stardust and Banana Brain, so we're definitely going to have a Protoss in there, and then whoever comes out of the losers bracket as the winner. The finals can also be 2 series back-to-back because the person that's in the winner's bracket hasn't suffered a series loss yet. So if they lose in that first series, and it's double elimination, they have to lose a second time. So it's exciting to see what the rest of this tournament is going, how it's going to turn out, how it's going to look. I'm very excited for it. We got we got 2 Protoss versus Protosses, and because we've got 4 Protoss and they're all put up against each other, we've got a Terran versus Zerg coming up on the next cast, so it'll be very exciting to watch, and I hope to see you there. I want to thank everybody who tuned in today for watching, and we will see you next time. And until then, stay safe, everyone. Take care.